Hey, welcome back to Add It Up. In this video, we're going to be going over what the difference is between a failing e-commerce store and a successful e-commerce store. So I personally love to use Shopify. It's one of my favorite platforms that I love to run ads for, manage people's stores and things like that. So that's why the Shopify icon, the X, and the money sign, right? So we obviously want to go from a failing store to a profitable money bag store. So what is the primary difference? So let's just go over some foundational pieces. Number one, there's a couple different ways that you can actually do an e-commerce business. You can do drop shipping, you can do an actual product, or you can do a brand that encompasses many products, right? So there's a couple different niches with that, but at the end of the day, you have to choose between like a drop shipping store, whether it's a one product or whether it's a general, and doing a brand. That's the first distinction that you need to make, okay? You can still make money with both, but if you're going the brand route, there is going to be more cost involved. You're going to have your logos on things. You're going to have more creative content that is specific around your brand, your aesthetic. You got to think about all that stuff, right? So if you are going to do the brand approach, then the other thing that you need to think about not only is your cost on the actual like investment into building out the store, into getting the branding and stuff, but then also your messaging. Okay. With a dropshipping store, you can kind of get away with not having this, but your messaging is super important because your brand, you're building something like Apple, right? There's a reason why people are going to be buying from you, not just because the bikini is nice, not just because the dog collar is nice. Like there needs to be something else. If you guys don't want to go that route, if you don't want to invest time and money into building out the brand, if you don't want to, really craft messaging behind it, have a nice Instagram page and theme page and stuff like that, then dropshipping is probably going to be your best bet, okay? So that's the first thing. You need to figure out your style of e-commerce store. The second thing is where you're going to get traffic from, okay? And there are a couple of different platforms that are really the best ways to drive traffic specifically for each kind of store. So what I mean is, for a dropshipping store, you have three primary options, okay? You have Facebook and Instagram, depending on the product. You have YouTube, depending on the product. And then you can also do Google. So when people search for the product online, depending on how high in demand the product really is, then you can use Google and YouTube. But most dropshipping products, people aren't searching for, right? You find one that is really nice, has some unique value, maybe has a high perceived value, right? And so you can run video ads and image ads for these products, okay? YouTube, it would be video. But what's cool about Google is if you don't want to go the creative route, if you don't want to have videos, images, and things like that, you can actually do Google ads and only use the product image. So as long as it has like a white background on the product, you are good to go. You can do PPC, you can do GDN. There's a couple of different things there, but primarily Google, you don't need too many creatives. The only platform you would need creatives for is going to be Google Display Network. Google Display Network, if you guys don't know, is when you see those banner ads across, wherever you browse, okay? So that is kind of the traffic sources, right? Now, if you're doing a branded store, these two are going to be very, very critical. Facebook and Instagram with video and image content. That is by far the bread and butter, right? Because as you continue to build up the brand, as you continue to kind of publish your own media and publish your own content, then you can start retargeting with some of these other platforms here. But you need to have a base in order to really have a high perceived value on the brand, a nice Instagram page with a bunch of followers and things like that, right? So this is one of the main aspects of making a Shopify store or e-commerce store successful or not. Because if you don't know where you're going to get your traffic from, then you can't really craft your messaging right, and you can't really really figure out what that brand is overall is going to be known for, okay? So keep that in mind as you're building it out. So now that we've gone over what type of store that you can do and the traffic that you get, now we need to go over your email marketing, okay? So let's go over email. So if you guys are just starting out, maybe you have a dropshipping business or a branded business, you guys need to do email marketing. Buy the $6 email, buy the $10 email, whatever it is, because you need to have a nice one from support, and you also need to have one that if they don't check out, you need to have the remarketing in place so that way they get an email a couple hours after, or a day after, a couple days after, whatever the case is, however you set it up, because that is going to be super, super important. One of the analogies that I like to give people when they go to the digital side, when they're trying to build out their e-commerce business, or even if they have an e-commerce business and they're just not executing on these things properly, is if you are, a salesman and you're doing over the phone sales, or even if you just went and made your pitch with a company, right? At the end of the day, you need to follow up with that person. It's going to be a longer tiered sales cycle, the higher the purchase amount, right? So the whole point is to build a relationship. Follow-up calls, emails, text messages, depending on the niche. You have to continuously follow up and be top of mind for those people. So when they are ready to purchase, you are there. Same thing with the email marketing. Same thing with your traffic we actually just went over. You have to do remarketing. You have to send them emails, newsletter emails, coupons, things like that to keep them enticed and obviously to try and get them to purchase your product. So email marketing, having your support email for when orders are going bad, then also maybe having like an info one, or a team member one, whatever the case is, right? So that way your brand looks a little bit more established, or your store looks a little bit more established. And then the fourth thing that you just need to really think about, like, what's the whole point of doing Facebook and Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, GDN? What's the whole point? Why am I doing email marketing, right, with my store? And this is where a lot of people, maybe they set up the ads, maybe they set up some of the foundational things here, and maybe they have the emails and they're just trying to put it together, right? But the fourth thing that they're not thinking about is the long term. Yes, they want to be in a business for the long term. They tell themselves that they want to be into it for the long term, but you need to think about data. You have to think about the data. And I don't think a lot of people talk about this because it's not sexy. You have to be able to have budget for ads, run the ads, and see what happens to them, right? You're investing into the data so that way you can find what works best and then pour more of your money on the ones that do. So for example, I just took an e-commerce store, one of my clients, from $18K per month. That's what he was doing in revenue last year. And just last month, he hit $159,000 in 1 month. He's not drop shipping. He has a branded product. It's just t-shirts. It's crazy, right? So the data that he has on his pixel, though, the data that he has, because he was committed in the beginning to finding out what was going on, it really allowed us to help him scale because there was data there. There was things that we can do. There were strategies that we implemented, and we instantly really took him to almost 10x in about 4 or 5 months. So pretty crazy, pretty awesome. Another client of mine, we actually originally did some consulting for them, and then now they're fully on board. And what happened is what they were running ads. They were doing about $200,000 per month with their sales, but it was just declining. Like it was just declining ever so slightly. And we came in there, we helped them kind of identify some of these things, number one, but two, gave them a complete strategy on how they should scale out, how they should really be marketing during this time. And just last month, they were $5,000 short of $1 million. And so we're actually managing their campaigns now. We're helping them scale up so that way they can hit 2 million. That's going to be a longer set goal. But the strategies and the things that I'm kind of sharing with you guys here are all the foundational pieces. And then once you have some of that stuff there, when you have your mindset right about a Shopify store or just an e-commerce brand in general, then you can actually apply a lot of the tactics because you're not in it for 1 month trying to make a bunch of money in 30 days. You know what I mean? So I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, like, and share this video. We'd really appreciate that. And again, if you have any questions, there's going to be a link down below that you can click, and you can obviously help. Obviously, you can book a call with me if you have any questions, if you want help with your e-commerce marketing, if you want help to scale up your Facebook and Instagram or Google ads, just let me know. Click the link below, and we'll get you set up. We'll hop on a call and see if we're a good fit. So again, guys, I hope you found a lot of value out of this. Again, like, comment, and share, maybe tag a friend, and I'll see you in the next video.